Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing out there in Atlanta Bird Gang land? We are here. Yes, we survived and we made it through the next day. So life will continue as we know it. Fellas, let's get an introduction all across the land. Over to my right is Brother Nick. How you doing, Nicholas?
Hey, what's going on, Steve? Man, it's your boy Nicholas, one of the administrators of Facebook Atlanta Bird Gang. Steve, hey, Nicholas. What? No, go ahead, Steve.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I was letting you finish, man. Y'all good to go.
I was just saying, just to cop that out, just been a Falcons fan since at least 1983. Mm-hmm. So I got a long time in this thing. And the Falcons are very, very important to me, and I'm about this life. So I just want to put that out there.
There you go. When you started with my name is Nicholas and I'm doing fine, I thought you were going out with the whole resume. So I was gonna let you just keep rolling, bro. You sounded like you on a roll. I'm good. I'm good. Down right below you in the square is Central Macon's favorite son, Tidy Jones. What's going on, Tidy?
Hey, not much at all, fellas. Not much at all, man. Just hanging out, doing a whole lot of nothing. How everybody doing?
Oh man, we
good, man. We here, man. We are disgruntled.
Yeah, very disgruntled. And right below me in my square is the brother I was worried about the most due to things last year because of the outcome of the game. Is my good friend, brother Marcus. Marcus, yeah, please tell me you made it through that game last night in good health.
I made it through, man. Cats was in my inbox yesterday, jumping out a window, man. For me, I had to learn last year to control my emotions with games like this. The good part about this game is I've had plenty of practice, for games like this. So I know how to handle watching games like this. Like the whole game, I'm literally watching it like this. Like there was no emotion, family. I'm like, I can't get up and start going nuts because I know what might happen. Listen, this Falconitis is real, family. It's real. So let's get to it, man.
Yeah. So there is an initial thought after a game like that, first game of the year. Higher expectations. I don't want to act like we thought we were. If the four of us, and if I kind of feel the vibe, y'all tell me if I'm wrong about judging you all. But I didn't see any of us putting up there 12-5, 13-4, lofty expectations. I think all of us would be happy to say maybe a winning season, maybe 8-9, something that shows we're going in the right direction. So the same thing I'm going to ask you all is the same thing I put out earlier in one of the podcasts I have, is to ask, is it just one game or do we sound the alarm? And I know I listen to everybody. I'm watching posts and I'm seeing the highs of the highs and I see the lows of the lows. I see the we'll go get them, guys. And I'll see the man, our season is toast. Where are you all standing as far as where the team is after one game? I shouldn't say where the team is. What's your thoughts on the team after one game? Nicholas, kick us off, brother.
My personal opinion, I think even thinking about this entire offseason and thinking about our draft class, our free agent class, and everything that we've done leading up to this, I think that to have these lofty, which I understand some people they're looking at the glass half full versus empty, So a lot of people not knowing that are not thinking that, Arthur Smith, this is his first go as a head coach. He's never been a head coach at any level, right? You're trying to base it off what he did at Tennessee, considering we don't have the same personnel that Tennessee had, with the dominant run game, which Ryan Tannehill was able to benefit a lot off play action, because if you're going to play up, he's going to be able to kill you on the back end. Hence why, he threw over 30 touchdowns last year, With that being said, we haven't seen anything from the team. We've seen some interviews. We've seen some practice clips all off season. It sounds good. Sounds like Smith is holding people accountable, making them run laps. I know we saw the Matt Ryan working on his mobility, that mess, whatever that's supposed to be or mean, whatever. And then here we are, game one. Now it's, okay, we've done all this talking. We've done all this. You didn't feel the need to play any of your starters in the preseason. You feel that prepared that these guys are ready to go. And then you go out there with an Eagles team that pretty much everyone in the group said that that's an easy win. And I saw no one pick the Eagles to beat us or even say that it was going to be a competitive game. So they're supposed to go out there and demolish the Eagles. And what happens? We lay a total egg.
Total egg
in all phases for the most part. Offensive line, which I'm not even putting it all on those guys, because they kept the defense kept the score close. The offensive line didn't allow a sack until the third quarter, I think, or something like that.
I think it was actually the fourth quarter. Me and somebody were having a debate about that. I don't remember a sack until the fourth quarter, and by that time they had taken the lead by more than 2 possessions. Then you could kind of let the horse.
Yeah, it's a free fall, Steve. At that point, it's because you know what you're gonna do. You can't run the football. You become one dimensional, and you can't impose your will on teams, which is what you want to be able to do. So I think that this roster, we're in a rebuild. As much as people don't want to admit that, as much as the Falcons don't want to admit that, anytime you go into all season, don't have much cap space, you have to fill out your team with kind of bargain bin free agents on 1-year deals. I think every free agent we signed was a 1-year deal except for Mike Davis, who was on a 2-year. But everybody else is on 1 year. And I was thinking that it was going to be at least 2 years before we really saw a major difference, because then you get another draft class in, you start to kind of be able to put the guys that you really want on there, and then start to build your core nucleus. But I think the way they lost, this does not look good for the Falcons. Even though it was one game, but it was a home game. You expected these guys to come out with a lot of energy. You expected these guys to just come out and really just do their thing. And it was just very disappointing yesterday. So I'm not going to say it's one game. So I'm not, just from what I saw, it didn't look good, but it is still one game. But then we play Tampa Bay next week. So that's going to be, a big deal, So that's my take on it.
I hear a lot of disappointment in your voice, and I hear a lot of, just the same thing I think a lot of people are feeling. Right before I go to you, Toddy, I just want to acknowledge a lot of the folks here. Jonathan Freeman, good to see you, brother. Daniel, I see you. Lisa Shepard, all-time great. Appreciate you coming in, as always. Todd Jackson, Maddie Trainer, David Stark, good to see you, brother. Ricky, T.O., Mercy. Mercy still got them handcuffs on them online. Watch yourself, Mercy. And we see all of y'all coming in. So I'm going to go through some of the comments as the guys are talking. And when I get to a good point, I'll stop right there. But Toddy, I know you probably broke open a good Cuban. Probably had to hit that. You probably went old school, went back to some Ciroc. Some fruit flavored Ciroc about that loss yesterday. Tell us how you feeling 24 hours later. How are you right now?
24 hours later, I'm still pretty disappointed in our performance and the way we showed up as a team yesterday, man, because we were favored to win that game, and I don't think nobody in the fan base anticipated, kind of like you said, us winning 12, 13, 14, 15 games this year. But I think the vast majority of us all thought that we would at least win that game yesterday. And to have such a pathetic showing, and to really, toward the end of the game, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, we really just quit. I saw quit on the field toward the end of the fourth quarter. We quit. It was just terrible as a fan just to see the team give us that the first game of the year. Now if that was week 18 and we had we going into the game 7-9 and can't make the playoffs, you kind of can understand it. Guys are getting ready to go on vacation, off-season plans, but to give that kind of effort the very first game of the season, it's highly disappointing, man. It's highly disappointing. It makes you question everything that you were told in the offseason about this being a win now year. And I know it's only been one game for him, but it puts a little bit of doubt in your head about our new head coach, Arthur Smith. And again, it's only been one game, but everything that they told us that they would do is we saw the total opposite Sunday. So I'm still disappointed. I'm not as emotional as I was this time yesterday, but to say that I'm not disappointed would be just me telling y'all lies, man. I'm very, very disappointed in the showing of the Falcons game. I mean, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
I'm hearing unacceptable, embarrassing, disgraceful words like that. I akin it to, for those who try to act like it means nothing, we have 16 more of these. I always think about harken to my pre-wife nowadays, back when you were meeting a girl for the first time, or the ladies who listen, and I see a few of you online. Thank you for coming in. When you have that first look, that first impression, when somebody else told you about somebody, and you get that first impression, and they're telling you, oh yeah, they're this, they're that, and they're this, and then you see them for the first time, and all of a sudden you kind of say, did I really want to do that? I akin that to this Arthur Smith thing. We were sold that he was going to change things. Again, you were talking about the video, Nicholas, where he was doing the extra stretching and stuff like that. And we're supposed to get this big build up that it's a big change. And the first game, this is the first impression of the new regime, y'all. This is it. 30-27 lands better. 30-17 almost lands better. Folks, we did not score a touchdown. Only Aaron Rodgers, who didn't give a damn about his game yesterday, scored less points than the Atlanta Falcons did. Marcus, talk me off the ledge, man. Am I overreacting, or do I need to be concerned about the product they, meaning the organization, put out there for the fans yesterday?
Man, it's actually twofold. I don't think people are overreacting, and reason being is because we're coming off of 3 losing seasons. So what we witnessed yesterday was the same thing with a different coach, different OC, which is the coach, different DC, different special teams coach, a lot of turnover on the team. But what do we see? We see the offense get off to a fiery start, settle for field goals. We see the defense playing bad, but not bad enough to where the offense could actually still get in the game. They make enough stops for the offense to try to weasel their way back in, and then 3 and outs. At halftime, the defense needed to stop at the beginning of the third quarter. They got to stop. What did the offense do? Went right back and gave them the ball back. We've seen this story over and over again. So I get when people are like, hey, man, it's the same thing. And I just saw Lisa post up a comment. I was about to touch on that.
Which one?
The troubling part about this whole thing wasn't even what happened during the game, but what happened after. When Arthur Smith said it was his fault, he didn't have these guys ready to play. And I'm sitting here thinking, bruh, what have y'all been doing the whole preseason, the whole training camp? And this is troubling because if you can't get these guys ready to play week one in a game that they should, the reason why I say they should have won this game is because I knew exactly what Philly was going to come in and do. The RPO, Jalen Hurts was going to break a couple of plays open, get 10 or 15 yards there. I knew what they were going to do. And Dean Pease, and listen, I've talked Dean Pease up. Dean Pease did not have a good showing as the DC. So you have Arthur Smith. Again, I still think we have more talent on this team than he did on Tennessee's team, minus Derrick Henry last year, right? They were still able to put points up. We couldn't put a touchdown up. And outside of the first two series, family, they scored no points. And I've been saying this. I've just been ringing this bell year after year after year. You can say the defense is awful. Man, I'll concede that to you at this point. But at some time, we have to talk about the fact that we do have an offense that struggles to score in first halves, and then they're playing catch-up in the second half. Yesterday was no different. They were playing catch-up. And they couldn't. You know the terrible thing about this, and I'm going to give it back to you. The offense was so bad. Philly didn't have to score another point and still could have beat us.
Yep.
That's how bad our offense is. Yep. The game, when I said the game was over at halftime, I'm not playing. Matt Ryan, I know we going to get into this, bro, but listen. You threw over 30 times. You didn't scratch the surface of 200 yards. And when Tiny says this team quit, they did. Now, I've seen this team play harder in a Week 17 game when they going on vacation.
Right.
We watched this team play a lot harder in a game that did not matter. We're out of it. We're out of the playoffs. You look back at 2015 when we were out of the playoffs and I think we rattled off 2 out of 3 wins. We rattled off one important win against Carolina because other than us, Carolina would have went undefeated during that season, and we gave the Broncos the blueprint on how to stop Carolina. Yeah. And then the very next year we came in and we marched to the Super Bowl. So I don't care if we're getting beat by 50. You can't see guys with hands on their hips, body language. You cannot see that. And this is the first game. So I don't know what Arthur Smith has to do to unscrew this, but you got to get them boys ready. I mean, I don't care if we lose by 30 next week. I can't see guys quit. Right. I cannot see that. So that's what I got to say on that one.
That's a worse impression for your fan base than anything else, to see guys truly go out there and not give their all in the game. Before I go into the next question, just want to acknowledge some more folks in here. Andrietta, thanks for joining us. Kendon, another Marcus Spoonie Love. How you doing, brother? Says nice round table. Amelia says, hey guys. Chris Collins said, what's up, y'all? He's been here for a long time. DeMarcus, how you doing, brother? Miss Sabrina Whitfield tells us we got to keep grinding. Orion's in the house today. Brother Ryan Cobain is in. Ken Lewis, Fred Royal. Just a lot of folks. We appreciate y'all coming in and talking to us real quick for at least another 35 minutes. And then we'll let y'all get ready for your Monday night game with Baltimore and the Raiders coming on. We'll go back around, folks. When you lose this decisively, it's a team F for everybody. Nobody gets it back. There is not a person talking about what did the Falcons do good yesterday. No, there could be one or two spots. Youngway didn't miss a field goal. Okay, that's about the only thing. What one thing, and I want you to say Matt Ryan because we're going to get to him last. What one thing did you see, Tidy, that you say concerns you the most about this team day one?
Preparation, for one. The team that just came out there, they were just totally not prepared. To me, mentally or physically, preparation was a big concern. And also, a huge concern for me was the strategy offensively, the scheme. The situational play calling was just, in my opinion, atrocious.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like I said, I know it's only one game, but it's like, hey, coach, like, what are you doing? You know, it kind of put a thought in my mind, like, did we hire the right guy? Like, it's 3rd and 8 and 2nd and 14, and you're running the ball. You're not throwing the ball down the field. You know, and granted, I know that guy's in Tennessee now, but hey, Calvin Ridley is a good deep threat. And also, another concern was for me, and we may touch on this later, was how we did and didn't utilize Kyle Pitts. In my opinion, I felt like we missed on a lot of golden opportunities to work him in the middle of the field, and I saw him far too often yesterday just running streak plays. And I remember one goal line opportunity we had, he wasn't even in the game, and I'm like, well, is this Julio again? I mean, you coming out on the goal line? Like, did we not draft him to help out us in the goal line? So how we utilize Pitts and him not exactly having a starlight first appearance, preparation, and also just a scheme. Like, this team just did not look – this team looked like they just got together about 10 days ago, honestly.
Yeah.
Everything looked cool.
Backyard football, they just pick sides.
Yeah.
They look like the sick Bishop Sycamores.
That's what they look like.
Make it worse, Florida State. So, Nicholas, what did you see, brother? What one thing, not named Matt Ryan, did you see that you would say worried you the most yesterday? Whether it's something that happened, a specific position, a person. What did you see? One thing that you saw that disturbed you most?
I'm gonna go back, and something that's kind of plagued us. I mean, something that's plagued us in years past, and I'm gonna say adjustments. You know, because you game plan for these teams. You're supposed to spend the whole week, you know, game planning against this team. You got your scout team. Granted, you know, this was the first week, so you're probably looking at film, you know, of Jalen Hurts from last year. You know, trying to get ready for them schematically, or looking at some things that maybe that their current coach was doing, OC, before they got there to try to get ready for the game. So I'll say adjustments. If you see, like, for instance, if you see that Mayfield is getting beat like terror, like how he was getting beat yesterday, why are you not putting the back the chip? You know what I'm saying? Why are you not doing some things to try to help the young man out instead of letting him get bulldozed and, you know, Matt Ryan taking unnecessary hits? I think that, you know, you have to make adjustments and the in-game adjustments. I mean, even going into the second half, I didn't really see any adjustments. It was kind of like they got behind, they couldn't get anything going. And where was Kyle Pitts? Like Tidy said, where was Pitts? You know, look, if you're going to spend a top 5 selection on a tight end, like, this guy's got to be a difference maker. And you've had all off season to scheme. You've had all, you know, you felt this good about him that he didn't have to play in any preseason games. You obviously felt like he's ready to go. He's good. He really didn't need any reps. I mean, he had the one game we caught the one pass, but, you know, you're gonna have to justify this selection, especially when you had other options at that selection. You have to justify that. And what we saw yesterday, it showed an ineptitude in coaching, it showed an ineptitude in preparation, and it showed an ineptitude in like situational football and adjustments. So that would probably be my my point.
Marcus, what one thing that you see yesterday, not named Matt Ryan, that disturbed you the most about the performance yesterday of our team?
If I had to just hone in on one thing, I would say it was the whole offense. The things that I found surprising are the things that we were doing well on offense, we would go away from. There was a 3rd and 8 where it was a halfback delay to Cordell Patterson, and we made the first down. I was like, that was actually a good play. The hurry-up offense where we have been – listen, we've seen Matt Ryan now 14 years. As bad as a lot of people might think Matt Ryan is, the one thing we know for sure is his strength is the hurry-up offense.
Absolutely.
When we first came out, it was hurry-up.
Yep.
We marched right down the field. No problems. The second series, there was a little bit of hurry-up mixed in. I think they huddled one time, marched right back down there.
Yeah.
Then we didn't go back to it at all. I'm like, I don't, and maybe, just maybe, this is a result of none of these guys playing preseason games together. You got a first-year head coach trying to figure it out. Maybe he's trying to find his grip. But the one thing that I like the guys touched on, Kyle, we did a draft special where I was like, I think they're going to go Kyle Pitts because they're not trying to rebuild. You can't use Justin Fields. I know people were talking about, well, we should have drafted Justin Fields. We would have got our ass drugged the same way yesterday because Justin Fields wouldn't have been out there. All right. Matt Ryan would have been the quarterback. But you draft this guy and he's blocking for most of the plays. Like he gets in the red zone, he ain't there. Like all this talk about how y'all have exclusively been at the end of practices, y'all got Kyle Pitts out there running routes in the red zone. We get in the red zone and the man ain't even on the line. Like, I do not understand offensively. Defensively, hey, listen, man, did they play like trash? The score really doesn't give us the full scope because when they started scoring these touchdowns in the fourth quarter, we were going for it on like the 27-yard line.
True.
You know what I mean? So other than that, they had it to a point to where the offense could have made a play and scored a touchdown. We right back in there. And it was just, the fact that over the years, we have had so much money on the offensive side of the line. In my estimation, Matt Ryan could potentially be a billionaire just playing for the Falcons, fam. He's read up twice for $200 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't got to do nothing else. So, and then, we had Julio for the years and, all our money was on the offensive side of the ball. And really over the last 10 years, the only time where I felt like it paid off was in 2016. So for me, the defense got to get some of this work. They got to. But at the same time, family, 6 points. That to make this bad, I went across the league. I watched some of the highlights from these other games, and I caught like 2 or 3 games yesterday. Family, there's some terrible defenses. These teams still put up touchdowns, though. So, I mean, there were some teams that got their heads beat in that had 16 points. That had 21 points. I can take it if we lost, but we put it in the end zone.
Right.
If you can't put it in the end zone, man, honestly, I'm at a point now to where if none of these guys can get the job done, then y'all need to blow up that side of it. Y'all need to blow up that side of the ball because y'all Ridley had a couple of good throws thrown to him, and then he went MIA. Well, I mean, in the second quarter, I didn't know. I thought Calvin Ridley got hurt because you didn't hear from him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we had good momentum, we had good things going, they completely went away from it. And hopefully, man, they go back and they look at this and they say, hey, listen, if Cordell Patterson's running the ball good, let's stick with him. You know, if Calvin Ridley is smoking the guy that's defending him, let's go with it. We saw this happen in the Tampa Bay game, not the Tampa Bay and the Cowboys. How when that corner went out, they kept playing man over there. They kept trying that corner over there. They kept trying them. You know, that's what you got. You can't go away from that type of stuff. So it's the whole offense, man. I got to completely throw under the bus as far as this goes, because 6 points ain't going to get it done. I don't care how bad your defense is.
I feel like, and all of those reasons you guys gave were very valid. And now we get into the part that bothers me the most about yesterday's performance. And it's in the category of you can't do anything about it right now. Coming into this season, we were sold on Kyle Pitts being a game changer, even a game changer enough where it was on the table for you to get rid of your Hall of Fame wide receiver. Kyle Pitts was supposed to be the next coming. I witnessed that same drive that you guys are talking about in person, where Pitts got a penalty, if I'm not mistaken, I believe, for illegal procedure. But that doesn't matter. You are the reason why we brought you in here to help our red zone woes. And when it's time, you're on the sidelines. To your point, I'm trying to think, was that you, Marcus? It was just saying, dude, you were the golden child. Why are you not inside this game with one, because you made a penalty? If that was the case, Jalen Mayfield should have been out of the game in the first half.
He should have been in the locker room.
He should have been in the locker room.
Yeah.
So anyway, aside of that, let me get back to my point, and I'm gonna let y'all just tell me how you feel about this and tell me how off I am. Because I also remember the last time the four of us got together. And I also remember the last time that we talked about Kyle Pitts or a quarterback. I'm not even going to say individuals, so it really doesn't matter. A quarterback, a 21st century quarterback. When I look at Jalen Hurts doesn't come off as top 10 quarterback material. Jalen Hurts doesn't come off as this person who's going to save a franchise. But you know what Jalen Hurts is? He's an athletic quarterback. I didn't say running. An athletic quarterback. Many of the plays that broke down for Philadelphia. Because if folks don't read and remember, Philadelphia came into this year worried about their offensive line. But you know what they have? They have somebody that can move to the side when the rush is coming from the left. Move inside, step up when the rush is coming around the edges. And somebody who can manipulate the RPO, like our buddy up in Seattle's been doing for the last few years, and Aaron Rodgers been doing with scrub running backs for the last decade. We have to think about moving forward. It is nothing we can do about 2021 right now. But I will tell you this, guys. For all of the talk I got about, save Matt Ryan. He's our hero. Save him. He's the franchise leader. He's Hall of Fame. All of that crap that you try to sell me. Sell me on 13 or 20. What was it? What was the thing yesterday? 20-something out of 35 passes for $160, 164 yards?
He was 21 to 35. Him and Jalen
35. Okay, so I'm not a mathematician, folks.
Hold on, Steve.
Completions.
Stephen, hold on before you
35 attempts into 164 is not a lot of yards. So his yards per attempt were garbage. And as a quarterback today, Jalen Hurts, who is a tier 3 at best quarterback, walked all over this team. I don't even think the defense was as horrific as the score says. If y'all think about it, we were still in a 2-possession game late into the third quarter.
Yep.
We were still in this thing. It wasn't like they were destroying us 70 to zip from the jump. But we don't have that type of talent at the quarterback position in order to improvise when things go down. Folks, there are offensive lines that are garbage. That Philadelphia offensive line didn't do the greatest job yesterday. His pocket wasn't clean all day. But Jalen went around and made the moves that he needed to keep things going. It's not personal. It's not. Matt, we are ready for you to go to greener pasture and retire and go into that nice.
It is, Steve.
We're ready for that. But yesterday, I saw a third-tier quarterback come in here and walk up and down the field on our team. Am I off base? Please tell me, Nicholas, am I off base when I'm saying that?
No, I mean, not at all. I think at this point, I mean, Matt Ryan's in his 14th year. I was one of the guys in the group, messaging, and he, this whole Michael Vick, Matt Ryan discussion, I really get tired of hearing it because you got a guy that literally was here for 6 years, started only 5 of those years, and then one of those years he was hurt most of the year, so he really only started like 4 whole seasons versus the guy who started 10 more years over this person. And I mean, of course, he took us to the Super Bowl, but that was a while ago, And Father Time is undefeated, gang. Like he is. And Brady, you can't use Brady as a comparison because he's an anomaly. No quarterback at his age has performed at a level like he is at this time. Still throwing. When they watching that broadcast of that Cowboys Bucks game, I mean they were comparing him throughout the years. He still looks the same. I think he's an android. I don't even know if he's a real person. I don't know. When I watch, I mean, his mechanics are still tight. Like everything is still there. But like Matt Ryan, I see he looks slow. Like just even when he's reading the defense,
he didn't look slow, Nicholas.
He
is slow.
when you're looking at it, it just doesn't pass. It doesn't pass the eye test, man. It's like I don't see it, and and let me just say, I don't hate Matt Ryan. I want to say that I appreciate everything that he's been able to do while he's been in Atlanta. The timing that he came in after the whole Vic scandal, to help, be the new face of this franchise, taking this team for the last 14 years, man. That's wonderful. He's been nothing but a great teammate. You don't hear any scandals about him. He don't, bad talk anybody. He's just a company guy. He comes to work and he goes home and spends time with his twins and his wife. I mean, you can't be mad at a guy like that. But as a fan and as a fan base, you got to look at it. You got to look at the long goal, the long term. Like what, like this guy has already got 3 contracts out of us, count as rookie, and he's been re-upped twice.
Yeah.
He's in his 14th year. At this point, it's like, you've tried this formula. It's gotten old and stale. It hasn't worked. At some point you got to say, Tidy, you say it all the time. It's time to blow this thing up. It's time to rebuild the team from the ground up. And what they tried to do this year was kind of just throw a piece here, throw a piece there, just to try to keep the ship afloat. But the ship still got holes in it, and he's not going to be able to play at a high enough level to compensate for the deficiencies that the Falcons have. Because at this point, he's still an average quarterback. He's still at least a top 15 quarterback even now. Is he elite? No. But I think I saw one, might have been CBS. Y'all might be able to help me with that. I believe he's rated like number 12 I think if out of all starting quarterbacks, I'll give him that. But what I saw yesterday, I just don't see. I don't see a guy that's going to be able to. This team is currently constructed. Is going to be able to take you to the next level. I don't see that with him this year. We have to start looking at drafting a quarterback next year. We just have to. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it.
Marcus, I've heard you go back and forth, and I know sometimes I want to chime. Sometimes I do chime in, and I've heard you defend, and I've heard you also critique when he needs to be critiqued. So I'm very interested about your take on. And again, there's nothing we can do about 2021. I know that, but am I far off about seeing what I'm seeing? Where we talk about a Jalen Hurts, Tyrod Taylor, guys that are third tier, but because they have that extra element, that extra thing that can get them out of situations that are very slow. I disagree with you, Nick. Slow quarterback. Am I wrong about that? Am I off base?
Man, I've been called. Y'all know, man. I make lives all the time, man. I've gotten into it with Ryan Knights more than I've had Ryan Knights follow me home after I've done lives, man. They jump on my personal page. They jump in my inbox. They ain't done talking, man. This is what I put out there. While you were talking about Matt Ryan, I kind of wanted to jump in, and this is what jumps out. Him and Jalen Hurts threw the same amount of passes yesterday, which was 35. Matt Ryan completed 21. Jalen Hurts completed 27. But there's a 100-yard gap in there. Matt Ryan threw for 164. Jalen Hurts threw for 264. Jalen Hurts isn't known for being he's more of an athletic quarterback. Matt Ryan's supposed to be the savvy vet, who knows how to. Listen, Ryan Knights is gonna have to hate me because I'm about to go full in. Listen, I've been talking for years about Matt Ryan's accuracy, Matt Ryan's inability to throw a player open. The ball stays in the air too damn long. First off, and he threw the ball 20 yards once yesterday.
Maybe
I saw Aaron Rodgers throw a pick that went 35 yards. He threw a pick that went longer than a Matt Ryan throw. So I get why they went Kyle Pitts. I understood it. I think Kyle Pitts is gonna pay off. I think I'm not gonna really get into. I know a lot of people expected Kyle Pitts to have 400 yards yesterday or whatever, but you got to look at the fact that I don't think he pulled himself out of that red zone. I think that was a conscious decision by the coach not to have him there. I can't put that on him. But I said, after Kyle Pitts got drafted, Matt Ryan got 1 year. Matt Ryan's got 1 year to show and prove, even though he's got a 2-year extension. I believe if we have anything close to a losing season, they will move heaven and earth to get Matt Ryan up out of here. Because since 2008, Matt Ryan's the only common denominator. Aside from McKay and aside from Arthur Blank, he's the common denominator. Everybody else is gone. He's it.
Absolutely.
So to me, I feel like this team, it's got good pieces. I don't believe in just completely blowing up the whole team. Before you blow up the whole team, put another quarterback back there. Let's see what he can actually do with the same pieces. I'm not seeing Matt Ryan throw guys open. Matter of fact, Matt had a couple of throws yesterday. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? The two intentional ground plays.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, the reason why guys like Brady, guys like Aaron Rodgers, why they get all the accolades. You look at Tom Brady. Bruh, Tom Brady, you can tell Tom Brady still works on his game. His release is faster And he's 44 years old, and his release is faster than it was 10 years ago.
I saw that.
This is a guy you can first of all, you can tell he loves the game. Secondly, you can tell this man works on his craft. I'm at a point to where I can't say the same about Matt Ryan, because what real improvements have we seen since the Super Bowl? Let's just be honest. You know, Matt's ball is just not what it used to be. And like you said, there's nothing we can do this year. There's nothing we can do. And I feel like Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith decided to make the decision, hey, look, we'll see what we can do with Matt Ryan this year. I guarantee you, if this team goes bust this year, they're getting off of Matt Ryan next year. If we have to swallow money, that's what it's going to be. But you can't. People don't realize this, and I'm going to give this back to y'all. There is an undying loyalty to Matt Ryan. And I'm like, do y'all realize Matt Ryan is one of few quarterbacks that has been in the same spot for 14 years? The only other person you can actually think of, Ben Roethlisberger, he's got rings. Aaron Rodgers, he's got a ring and like 3 or 4 MVPs. Tom Brady, when he was in New England, how many of them things he got? He had 6. One of them came off of us. I mean, anywhere you look in the league where a guy's been there a decade plus, they got a chip. Matt Ryan is like the only guy who's been somewhere for 14 years. Not only does he not have a title, but he didn't have – listen, what Tom Brady did last year when he changed the play that he didn't like, it takes bowling ball nuts to do that. When you just say, hey, listen, I don't like that. I'm running something else. Matt Ryan had the opportunity to become Tom Brady in the Super Bowl and say, yeah, hey, listen, we ain't passing the ball. But instead, he messed his whole legacy up with one play.
That been legendary.
Yeah, and think about the stories that would have been told with the great Kyle Shanahan, the offensive play mind, the brilliance of his play calling. And then we hear that he called a pass play, and Matt Ryan looked at it and said, nah, we're running the ball. And then we ride off into the sunset with a ring. First of all, Matt Ryan going into the Hall of Fame first ballot, because he's got the stats. You know what I mean? But I think at this point, man, unless Matt Ryan pulls together an MVP season or close to an MVP season, he's probably gone next year. I just what I saw yesterday, man, that's the worst I've seen Matt play in a while, man. I'm just gonna be honest. 21 to 35, man, and 146 yards, bro, or 164 yards.
I
can't defend that.
As you were saying that, I started thinking about the guy from the Jets that just got drafted, Zach Wilson, in his game yesterday. Zach Wilson's numbers for yesterday: 20 attempts, 37 yards. I'm sorry, 20 completions. 37 attempts, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I only bring him up to compare. What were we sold on all off season about the difference between drafting somebody new and Matt? You had a veteran. You were going to bring in this young, great talent like Kyle Pitts. You were bringing this offensive guru, Kyle Shanahan-ish type guy in Arthur Smith, and we were sold the magic beans, y'all. We were sold it. I'm not saying the world is ending after one game in September, but at least I wanted to see a touchdown. Toddy, I haven't forgot about you, but I did want to bring this up, somebody, because there are, and this is a great opinion base. I see a lot of opinions going on, and thank y'all for admins for answering some of those things as the comments are coming fast and furious. Thomas, Christian, Miss Monica, good to see you in here. Thomas, all these folks. Well, one of the guys asked a question. He said, I'm not sure what game y'all are watching, but the Eagles' O-line dominated. Our D-line got no push. Now, I was watching the game, contrary to what you were saying. And while the offensive line did tend to outplay our offensive line overall, there were times that we got through. Grady Jarrett had 2 different occasions where Jalen Hurts was basically in the palm of his hands and did not make the tackle. What's my buddy with the hyphenated name? Mariner or whatever.
Yeah,
and
Mariner.
Mariner did get 1 sack, right? Meredith.
Yeah, I think he got to him one time from the back. That was a scramble play. It looked like Jalen was about to, because he had the left side of the field, looked like he was about to take off, and dude got him from the back.
Right. So there were several times where Jalen Hurts was in trouble too. Not trying to tell you we got a Dante Fowler sighting. I'm not trying to tell you that we got John Abraham recreated on our defensive line right now. I am saying there were moments that the defense got in there. But you know the difference were with the moments that our defensive line gets in there and their defensive line gets into Matt. Matt has 2 or 3 things he's going to do. He's going to either fall into the fetal position or he's going to throw the ball away, and at his detriment, as mentioned with the 2 intentional grounding plays. Jalen Hurts / Josh Allen / Russell Wilson / Aaron Rodgers / Patrick Mahomes / y'all get my point. The NFL is going to passers that have athleticism, that are able to improvise, that are able to make plays when the plays break down. We don't have that. Do you realize how excited we were in preseason when Felipe Franks, who is kind of slow, ran for a 50-yard run during the preseason? You would have thought that guy mentioned number 7 was back in town. The way we were talking about it in preseason, tidy, pop me off the ledge, man. Am I losing my mind with that? To say that type of quarterback wouldn't help us?
You're not losing your mind at all, Steve, at all, man. We have definitely discussed the subject before. I'll go back to when we had our pre-draft wars, you know, the pre-draft war area in this group. And everybody was telling me, you know, why draft the quarterback? He ain't gonna never, ever play. And then, you know, I saw yesterday the same quarterback in question. He got in the red zone for the Chicago Bears. And if anybody saw that game or saw the highlights, when that quarterback in question got in the game in the red zone, did Chicago not score? Now, go back to when the Atlanta Falcons got in the red zone yesterday. Did the Atlanta Falcons score? So when we was having our pre-draft wars, that's what I was trying to get everybody to see and understand. Like, hey, you can use this kind of quarterback and package situation. You know, hey, Matt Ryan struggles in the red zone. That's a fact. Me and Kelly Stetson from this group, we went back and researched the numbers from his entire career. He's only had like 2 or 3 years where he has been very good in the red zone. Out of 13, that's not a high percentage. And I've said this before, Steve and fellas, like, when you watch Matt Ryan in 2021, it's like you watching an outdated product. Not saying the product is bad, but it's just outdated. It's like you playing on a PlayStation 3 when everybody else in your neighborhood or all your friends, they got the PS5 already. But you still got the PS3. I mean, you still can play the PS3 and have a good time with it, but you're not going to get everything out of the system as all your friends who have the PlayStation 5. And that's what it seems like when I see Matt Ryan sometimes. Well, a good bit of times now. And everybody try to use this offensive line excuse. And that's one excuse I'm getting tired of seeing and tired of reading. Because one thing you got to understand, Steve, as you just mentioned, the league is changing with the athletic quarterback. So when you're a defender or you're a defensive coordinator, and you see Atlanta on the schedule, you know, hey, this guy, we ain't got to worry about the dual components of Matt Ryan. We can just bull rush him. You know, they're not going to make us be honest. We ain't got to worry about no RPOs with these guys. Just bull rushing, you know? Now, you got Russell Wilson on schedule. Like, that makes the defender think twice about the strategy he's going to use to rush the quarterback. Because you just can't come at Russell Wilson straight. I mean, you got to have your head on the swivel because he can turn around and get around the corner on you. Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, any of these guys. That's what the league has turned into. But the Falcons we're stuck in this old era of football, and we're trying to force the issue, you know. And it boggles my mind how some people just don't see it. It's like, y'all, let's go back to the very last NFL draft. You had Trevor Lawrence, dual threat guy. Zach Wilson, super dual threat guy. Mr. Trey Lance, dual threat guy. Justin Fields, dual threat guy. So the first 4 out of 5 quarterbacks taken can use their legs and their arms. And we're still sitting here with a guy who probably runs 5'8" in the 40, no mobility. And one thing I saw yesterday from Matt that it really made me realize where he's at and where we're at with him. You know, we mentioned those transitional groundings. That was a guy who looked like to me that, hey, this is just getting too fast for me. Let me just throw the ball away. Instead of taking a sack, his mind told him, hey, let me just throw the ball away. And that was not a good sign to me. And I said earlier, I felt like the team quit. I felt like when he was getting those intentional grounders, he quit. It was almost like he was saying, hey, man, bring Josh Rosen in. I don't have nothing for these guys. And like you mentioned, Steve, when we got pressure on Jalen Hurts, he could move and maneuver and get past that pressure. Like y'all, the game has changed. You know, I said last night, like, in the NBA, they don't go to the post anymore. These guys just run up and down the court and shoot threes. The NFL is going through that same passing of the guard in the sense of the league changing. The day of this just statue quarterback, you building this super mega untouchable offensive line to build this force where nobody can touch him, that era is gone. It's all about being able to do a multitude of things at the quarterback position. So when these defenders get to Matt Ryan, it's like, hey, he can't do nothing. He ain't gonna keep me honest. I can get this. And Cam Jordan said it best. You hit Matt Ryan enough, you're gonna get in his head. And until our franchise get out there high horse and stop being stubborn, y'all, we're gonna be miserable. We're gonna be miserable.
I wanted to clarify for some of our older guests who are coming in today. When Tidy mentioned PlayStation, that would be the equivalent of what we might call Atari and Commodore 64. Just to let you know that he was talking about video games. Just to let you know. I mean, just good talk, and I'm going through it. And folks, I mean, forgive me. We hitting some pretty high views on here as I expected with 3 great minds and me sneering. Just some great comments. I did want to go to a couple of guys. I don't want you to think that we're ignoring everybody on here. Just want to go through a couple of comments. We'll get back to y'all in a second. Dave said they better not draft a quarterback next year. They could potentially be set up for 25 years when you combine Matt with one of those QBs from the last draft, similar to Green Bay. Said, one question. I have a question for you guys. Do you think it's time for new ownership? I'm going to hit on that briefly and give y'all a couple of seconds because I don't want to stay on that longer than we talking about the team at the moment. As much as Arthur Blank has made missteps and things that nature, I'm not sure it's quite all on his shoulders. Now he owns the team. Obviously, he takes, no pun intended, ownership of the good and bad. I'm not willing to go in that direction. I think this year he thought he was getting some fresh new minds, and he still might later on for this team later. How do y'all feel about that? When somebody says that, Nicholas, when somebody says, is it time for new ownership? I mean, first of all, he's not going to fire himself. But how do you feel when you hear that question popped up?
In my opinion, I feel that I think Arthur Blank, I think, he's kind of tried to run the Falcons kind of like how he ran Home Depot, I think. And I think that, a football team franchise is just different. And I mean, it's one thing to be loyal to someone, but then it's one thing to be loyal to a fault. I think that he's too close to players. I think that he's kind of got like that kind of friendship mentality. I think maybe he knows the guy, he's a great guy, but he's making it hard for him to make tough decisions. And I think that he wants to win, and I think he struggles with trying to figure out what to do in order for them to be successful. I mean, at the end of the day, he tries to hire football people to make football decisions that's best for the team. But I think that whole Falcon for life thing and all of that he should have never said that. I think, because, NFL stands for, everybody say, not for long.
Yeah. No matter what that contract say.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? Like, look what happened to Murray over there in New Orleans. What they pulled on him to get him up out of there. Trying to force him to take a cut, and when he said no, they just cut him. But they waited within the last 3 hours of when they could do it. So I say all this to say that he tries to hire people that smarter people than him that know football to try to build a team, but sometimes it's to a detriment. Certain times, especially being too close to the players, because it sounded like when he was talking about Julio, I mean, he was sounding very personal about that. It was almost like one of his family members did him wrong, and he's expressing it. Like, they're not your family, they're employees. You own the company, you have managers that run it, and you have employees, which are the players. So you shouldn't take anything personal. Somebody say they want to leave or whatnot, because you're not their granddaddy or Pappy Blank or whatever you think you are. You're the owner, and you need to proceed as such and not make statements like that that puts the GM in a peculiar situation, because now you're saying, oh, he's a Falcon for life and all this stuff, and now even though you may want to move away from this person, or you may make a different decision, that puts pressure on you to not do that and maybe keep this guy longer than you want to keep him. So I think that everybody's got to be on the same page and on the same accord with what they're doing. So I mean, Arthur Blank, I'm not gonna say he's a bad owner. I mean, especially remember the Rankin Smith days, because he sucked.
Yeah,
I think we all agree with that.
Yeah.
That's my comparison. Because I'm sorry for those of you that remember,
he didn't want to spend no money. He didn't want to do anything. Games were blacked out every Sunday. I can remember I had to watch the Cowboys versus 49ers, and we were playing at home. Only way I was gonna see it if we was on the road. That's the only way you're gonna see it. If it's at home, you ain't gonna see it. The Fulton County Stadium will not be sold out. So I remember those days. So with that being said, I'm not gonna say about Blank, but I think he has to take a different aspect and take a different look at how he's running the team and making sure he's putting the right people in the right place to be successful, and not making it to certain players, because anybody can go at any time.
Two quick points about what you said. One, about the Arthur Blank thing. One, just want to make sure the Falcon for life thing, I think everybody kind of saw where that came from. And even he not recanted, but he went back in the interview he did with Jeff Schultz a couple of weeks ago and said it was a mistake to say that, and explained that he was trying to build loyalty when you're, signing people. And I get, in other words, to your point about Home Depot, he was being businessman 101. He was calling himself trying to live up to them. And then the one thing I'll say about Arthur Blank, as compared to Rankin Smith, remember when Dion, and I was there the day he got put into the Ring of Honor, and he was up there speaking at halftime. He said that if Arthur Blank was the owner, he probably wouldn't have gone anywhere. during that time. So, and sometimes that loyalty can bite you in the behind, and then sometimes it could be a good thing. I'm going to assign another question to you because these are questions, folks, that I know a lot of you ask and posts bring up, but I'm going to give you this one, Marcus, real quick. How do you feel? This is Fred Royal. How do you feel, Marcus, about bringing Cam Newton home? And he's not saying home to sit at the house. He means home to Mercedes-Benz to be your quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons.
Man, if I'm going to be honest, realistically, it can't happen. One, because, we got Josh Rosen, you got Felipe, and you still got, what's his face on the books. So, at this point, though, if I'm to be honest, the type of swag that Cam Newton brings, I think this team would benefit from that. There's a confidence in Cam Newton that Matt Ryan just never had. And you look at the way the game's evolving. Now at this point, Cam's got a lot of hits on him. I don't think the way the Patriots handled, just cutting him I didn't really like that, because they could have put him in the backup spot. But, like Cam Newton said, he would have been a distraction, being that he's already had, these accolades. He's an MVP. He's won an MVP, went to a Super Bowl. He was that guy in Carolina for a number of years. But here's the problem. Let's just say they found a way to bring Cam Newton to Atlanta.
Okay.
There's going to be an immediate call for Cam Newton to be the quarterback. Almost immediate. Because we've seen 14 years of Matt Ryan. So everybody's going to want to know, what can Cam Newton do with this offense? You're already starting to hear chitter chatter about damn Josh Rosen. So imagine if Cam Newton got here. I mean, it's automatic. Bye, Matt. But I feel like going back to the question previous about Arthur Blank, people have to realize, I don't think Arthur Blank's done a bad job. I think Arthur Blank, because he has personal relationships with these players and, these coaches, he's kept people too long. But if you look at when Mike Smith came, we started rattling off winning seasons. When he fired Smith, and then he got Dan Quinn 2 years later, we were in the damn Super Bowl. So again, I'm not gonna. First of all, you can't damn fire the owner any damn way. But I think Atlanta needs to start making splashes to get the fan base excited, man. Because if Matt Ryan has a couple more games like this is one thing I believe Arthur Smith will do. Because we saw it yesterday. I was in the car making my line talking about Josh Rosen, and somebody in my line was talking about they put Josh Rosen in the game. And I'm sitting there thinking, when's the last time we saw that? Honestly, we didn't have our asses stomped in some of these games. And Matt Ryan has played the entirety of the game. So now we already seeing Arthur Smith put Josh Rosen in the game. So if Matt Ryan continues to teeter this way, you might see Josh Rosen a lot sooner than people would imagine. So I think he put a guy in place that isn't scared to pull this trigger. Now, I think Arthur Smith might have gotten, a little ego. Hey, listen, look at what I did with Tannehill. Matt Ryan's a way better quarterback. I know I can do this with Matt Ryan. And one game is not a huge sample size, but if we go and beat Tampa Bay next week, all is kind of forgotten about this game. Or if we go and we put up it's a shootout and we lose by like 3 points. You get what I mean? Now we like, oh, okay, yeah, that game was just a mishap. Them guys wasn't ready to play. But as much as I like Cam, man, I just don't even think it's realistic to bring him here. You got 4 quarterbacks on the roster now. And so what if you bring Cam Newton in, where is he going to rank on the depth chart? Are you just going to jump him to number 2? Or, I mean, how would that work? So as much as I would be interested to see what he could do, it ain't gonna happen, man. Maybe next year. I don't know. But this year, it ain't gonna happen.
The only thing that concerns me about Cam Newton, and you can't ignore it, there were people on the Carolina team, again, notwithstanding 2015, there were a lot of folks he alienated on that Carolina team because he did. You mentioned his swag. I think his confidence was so great that even some of his teammates, see Kevin Benjamin, see Steve Smith, see what was the other guy he fought, the cornerback. No, even though Olsen had a little bit of stuff with him too, the guy that went to Washington, cornerback. Norman.
Oh, Josh Norman. Yeah.
Norman. On a team that's fairly young, would they be able to take? He made a very good point, and I'm sure you're alluding to the Funky Fresh thing he did with him and his dad.
His pops, yeah.
His pops the other day, and I watched that whole thing too. Very entertaining. I'm not sure for this particular team, as young as we are, that would be a good fit. I think that's part of the reason why in New England they went in that direction. I think Cam is a different cat, very talented, but I also think he comes with so many asterisks. You said it yourself. He's going to take a lot of hits, and I just don't think for this team now, which we don't want to say rebuilding, but I'm not sure if he would be the greatest fit. Toddy, I saved one for you. That's not it. This one right here, and I hear a lot of this going around as well. We need to trade our first round pick to Houston and get Deshaun Watson. And of course, these days, Deshaun comes with an asterisk. Please tell me listen. If this was 2019, I would have helped him move and did the peach movers and got the truck and everything. But right now, would you make this move, and would it be smart for this franchise?
Just based on the question, if it would only cost me one first rounder, I'd do it in a heartbeat. And I would actually meet Deshaun at the airport and drive him to wherever he's going and help him unpack free of charge. If it only cost me one first round draft pick, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Your brother giving out $50 for massages. I'm gonna charge something.
Not the massage.
But I definitely would do it. But realistically, from what I'm hearing, Houston's asking price is far greater than just one first round draft pick. So now if we're talking about first round draft picks and other picks, based on what I'm reading, no, I would not do it. I would not do it. Because we're a team, as you mentioned, team that are essentially rebuilding. And at this juncture, we need every single draft pick that we can get our hands on, and even more. So if it's only just one first round draft pick, yeah, I would do it. But if it costs me 2 or 3 first rounders and 2 or 3 second rounders along with that, if they want 5 or 6 different picks together, that's an easy pass for me.
You would take that. And listen, this is notwithstanding. There was a time when I thought before the 2020 season that the rumors were going around that Deshaun wasn't happy. Remember, this was prior to the thing with the ladies and the civil lawsuit, which is not criminal yet. So we're not talking about anything illegal. When they mentioned that, there was a thought to me to say, that might be decent. However, from a financial standpoint, remember, he just signed a huge contract. And while we were trying to get rid of Matt's number, it doesn't work like that. You can't just trade contract for contract with the money we restructured and pushed down the line. So you would be paying some of Deshaun's hefty contract on top of the backloaded stuff that you owe Matt. And I think a lot of people don't realize that, and they think it's just, a Madden transaction where you just trade person for person, and it doesn't work like that. Am I foolish? I would be foolish to say I wouldn't want his talent back home where he is. Just like, and I wanted to bring something back you said too, Marcus, where you were saying, if we had an opportunity to sign and I'm paraphrasing what you said about if we had an opportunity to get that type of quarterback, we did have a chance to get that type of quarterback in late April, and we whiffed on it because we were infatuated with a tight end that's not in the game in the red zone when you have a chance to score a touchdown. Those are the things that just bother me tremendously. I know we said we were going to probably wrap up in a few, and I know you got to get rolling, Marcus, but I did want to move on to next week at Tampa Bay. And thank y'all again, thank y'all for tuning in. We said we were going to try to do this a few times during the season. I see you, Tiffany, Ryan, Lamar, Michael, Cam, Jeffrey, another Tiffany. Just thank y'all for the comments, and we see y'all, and some of us been responding, and we'll respond to it after this thing is over with. So appreciate you all supporting the Atlanta Bird Gang and everything you do out here. This has been pretty good. Going on to next week, guys, Tampa Bay. How do you see this team responding? I'm not saying win or loss. How do you see this team responding after what you saw last week? One of the criticisms that I'm hearing is about adjustments. The adjustments we didn't make from a first half to a second half. Well, now you got a full game in your hand, a horrific game, a horrible game, an embarrassing game. What adjustments do you make going into game 2 to at least, to what Tidy said, at least come out of the game knowing that you got all bullets in the gun ready to shoot? Start with you, Marcus.
Well, for starters, we can't play any worse than we played opening weekend. We can't play any worse than that. If we're playing any worse than that, then you need to just go ahead and blow the team up week 3. What needs to happen, because what I noticed, Mayfield got a lot of criticism, especially from me. But going back and watching that game, Mayfield was in the game pretty much the entire game. And when we became one-dimensional, that's when Philly just started firing off. And they said, hey, listen, they can't run the ball no more. So let's go ahead and just bull rush these guys. Let's just get to the quarterback. I would like to see Matt Ryan get this ball out of his hands as soon as possible. Same way with what Tom Brady's done. Tom Brady has been able to survive for so long because that ball comes out instantly. Like, he's hiking the ball 3 steps, bang, it's gone. I'd like to see a lot more work with Kyle Pitts. I was thoroughly satisfied with Cordell Patterson. They got to have him involved in every aspect of the game plan, because I was actually impressed with how he was running the ball. Mike Davis, he did okay. Mike Davis showed me more toughness than anything. There were a lot of plays where, after he got hit, he was picking up 2 or 3 yards. But to me, what you need to do with this team, just mimic what Dallas did. Spread them out. I would be telling Mike Davis, hey, listen, you're a blocker this game. Now, if I can get you out on a short swing or something like that, I'll do that. But you're a blocker. I just don't think that we're talented enough to run against this front 7. But where we are talented enough is the fact that their 2 corners are not the starters. And I watched Dallas cook these boys. when it came to the pass game. Dallas got whatever the hell they wanted. So, and I mean, Dallas has some talented receivers, don't get me wrong. But you're going to have to spread this team out and just, Matt just going to have to earn his paycheck with this game. You're just going to have to tell Matt, hey, listen, you had a trash game week 1. You better turn into the 2016 version of yourself, because I'm going to need that if we stand a chance to beat these guys. And mind you, last year, for a half, let me preface this, for a half, we saw Matt Ryan get down on his defense.
Yeah, he did.
And they had their starting corners. We saw him get down on them. And then, the boy went in there in the locker room, got some milk and cookies, jumped back out here and took a nap. So we can't have that going into this. And plus, it's a divisional game. It's, so we've seen this team before. So I expect this team to come and play a lot better. But in order to beat this team, you got to spread them out. You got to spread them out and throw the ball.
Absolutely. Tidy, same question. Tampa Bay next week. Expectations and what would Coach Tidy do? What would Coach Tidy say to the team going into next week?
Okay. First part of the question, my expectations, I honestly expect us to come out and look like a totally different team. And of course, a good way, because like Marcus said, we can't get no worse. So it's a division game, and I think that'll play a big part. Even during our worst years, we always play our division rivals, pretty tough. And even in our best years and their worst years, they normally always play us pretty tough. So I think my expectations, I think I'm going to see some pride come from these guys. I think I'm going to see Matt Ryan's pride get the best of him. He definitely hears his chatter. The chatter eventually gets back to him. So I think I'm going to see his pride come out. I think I'm going to see that from a lot of guys. Calvin Ridley, it's a contract year for him. So he's playing for a lot. So I think we'll get a good bit of that. Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, these guys can't be satisfied. And not only that, you playing Mr. Great. That's like playing LeBron. You want to have your best effort when you're playing against the best. So I think playing against the best is going to bring out the best in a lot of our guys. A lot of these defenders going to want to put Brady on his ass. A lot of these quarterbacks going to want to get an interception on Tom Brady. So I think that effect will make the guys play a whole lot better. So my expectations is I think we're going to get a better idea of what our team will be this game against Tampa. Now, if we come out and just totally lay that egg, that's who we are. And let's just get ready for a long season, guys. If I was coaching this team, I would say some of the same. Hey guys, where's your pride at? Where's your heart at? I didn't see a lot of heart from my team this past Sunday. And from a coaching perspective, Coach Smith, I think Arthur Smith kind of got wrapped up into trying to show that he can improve on Atlanta's weak spot, which was running the ball. I think he got inside his own head. And it was just trying to prove a point. Like, hey, I could come in and make a terrible running team into a good running team. And I think he lost aspect of, like, you still need to score touchdowns. It's kind of like when he had that quote in the preseason and I'm paraphrasing, when he said something like, well, we didn't score at all and that was by design.
Yeah.
To me, that reminded me of Smitty saying sacks are overrated. I'm like, what do you mean? You got to win. In order to win the game, you got to score more points. So I think he got inside his head a little bit. And I just need him to have a more balanced offensive scheme. When it's time to score, man, you got to run some deep routes. You got to mix up the playbook. You got to keep this team. You got to keep their defense off balance. And I don't want to see us running on passing situations again. So just come out there and show Tampa something totally different. And just come out there with some pride and some heart. Trust me, us fans, most of us who be real with ourselves, we don't expect you to come out here and beat Tampa. But damn it, come play with some heart. Come put some emotion on the field. That's all we ask for.
Yeah.
Hey, said very well. Expectations in the Coach Nick speech Nicholas, what you got?
I'll say on the offensive end, just in order for us to at least have a chance against Tampa, I think balance. I think we've all kind of touched on that. Balance is going to be key. I think being able to run the football. I think also too, Matt Ryan is going to need to be able to find his hot read. He's going to need to have more intermediate routes and shorter routes to help him get the ball out quicker. There's some of those longer development plays, because he's struggling with that and not being able to stretch the field. But I think if we consolidate the field, start utilizing, Pitts, Hurst, getting Patterson out wide, splitting. I saw a little bit of that Sunday. I didn't see a whole lot of it, but I saw a little bit of it. But I think that's going to help them out. I think as far as defense, I think, we still got to be aggressive. I mean, DPs and scheme. I mean, because let's be real, we don't really have a pass rushing threat. I know we were hoping for a Fowler sighting. The only thing I saw that changed was his number. That's about it. So we don't have a pass rushing threat. So you're going to have to generate a pass rush. You're going to have to get Brady off his spot. He can't sit back there and have all day long to dissect your defense, because I don't care if you got Deion Sanders and freaking, I don't know who else, whatever all-pro corner you want back there. If you have all day to throw it, somebody will be open. A corner can only cover for so long. You got to be able to get home. So they've got to figure out a way to generate a pass rush. Because, of course, Brady, we know, is not a scrambler. He is a legit pocket passer, but he gets the ball out quickly. So we're going to have to figure out a way to generate pressure. And then as far as, like, coaching, same thing, man. This is a division. I was just telling guys, this is a division game. These division games are very important. This is what's going to be the difference between us making the playoffs and sitting at home. Even, if we can win our division, we can go to the playoffs. So we're going to need to give our best effort. I tell them, play with pride. Let's show Atlanta and the fans that what we put out on the field last Sunday is not indicative of who we are and what we practice and what we do. So I want to see you guys go out here and show them they're not wrong and put forth the best effort. Because at the end of the day, we can tell, us as fans, we see it, we watch it, we know. And like we touched on, it looked like they quit this past Sunday, just keep going after it, man. And I think that only good things can happen, I think, for the team. But just like Heidi said, if they go out there and lay an egg and it's something similar to what we saw Sunday, guys, it's gonna be a lot of angry lives and comments and people cussing people out in the group and us kicking folks out this year. So we don't want that to happen. We want everyone to be here, and we want to have a great season. So I just want to see effort. That's my biggest thing. I think we'll be good.
I think you hit on it real good there, Nicholas, at the very end. I think as fans, and let's not fool ourselves, that's what we are. We are fans, and we want to see this team succeed, and we want the best for this team. I think the one thing I am very proud of, especially amongst this group and a lot of other you, is that we don't have the rose-colored glasses on. I think we call it like we see it. I think we try our best to give you what our opinion on how things are going. And a lot of times we may not be right, but it's the emotion of fans, the emotion that I think motivates even players. And yesterday, at that very beginning of the game, the first quarter, I'm trying to tell y'all, the fans were into it. The fans were rolling with the first two drives. And then somewhere in the night, somewhere in that late second quarter, early third quarter, those Philly fans came and basically took over. We can't have that. And you know why we can't have that? Because well, first of all, it's not going to be positive for any of us. But in order for us to keep that mojo going, folks. It's been a rough summer. We've been at each other's throat. We've been cussing each other out. I see guys getting, unfortunately censored, kicked out, stuff like that all year long. We want to have something positive to think about. We want to have something positive to talk about. And I know we can't just make this team any better, but at the same time, to talk about that was an ugly loss. And I'm just glad to see the number of folks coming through, talking about it. And I honestly, from this group that's been coming in here, I just see nothing but a lot of real, critical talk, not, he sucks, your mama sucks, and your daddy sucks, and all of that down the line. We don't need all that. Let's try to keep it as clean as we can. Opinions welcome, but just keep it clean. Last words around the table. Nick, anything before we close this out?
I'm just gonna say that I know we kind of been dealing with this in the group. Maybe over the weeks, but talking this fake fan thing. You're a fake fan and this, that, and the other, right? I kind of wanted to touch on that just a little bit. Just that, I'm going to say it again. I don't see how you could be a fake fan of a losing franchise as the Falcons are. We have no success. We haven't really had any consistent success. We're not like the Patriots. We're not like those teams. Most of us that have been here for a long time have endured all of the bad things and some of the high times too, because I'm not gonna say act like it's just been all bad. We've had some good moments, of course. Like that last game in the Georgia Dome. I think anyone will say that was just that captures what could be, what this fan base could be, that energy that we had that year. I think that since that Super Bowl, it's kind of like we just been searching, trying to find that thing. But I feel like, it's no fake fans. People are just passionate and people are pessimistic at this point. They're at the point now where it's like they've been hurt so much, it's easier for them just to say, well, we're not good, we're this and with that. It's just a coping mechanism for if it happens. How many times are we going to rise up to get let back down? You know what I mean? Like, I just won't rise up to go away. I think I just don't use it no more. And it's a punchline at this point. Because when we get clowned, they still say, y'all still rising up? Like, we need to just no slogans, no, none of that. We're all here because we love the Falcons. We love this team. I love the logo. I love, I'm not a player fan. I love the logo. I've been that way this entire time. I have some players that, I've had with some favorites. But when they left, even though I wanted them to be successful, I'm still about this bird gang. So I just want people to realize that and understand that when they start coming after fans for their opinions and just how they feel. Because I look at things from a football standpoint. I don't look at it from a homer standpoint. Like I'm not saying we're going to be 17-0. We're not going to lose any games. Matt Ryan's going to be no. Like I look at it from a logical standpoint. Now, if he and the other team, if they perform past that, that's what we want to happen. We want to be proven wrong. We want to come out and say, you know what? I thought we were going to be 7-10, but hey, I'm all with this. 17-0, I'm with it. We want to be proven wrong. And I think that as fans, we just have to understand people have differences of opinion. People are going to feel differently. Just agree to disagree. Don't argue with folks, man. Just y'all have the conversation, have an adult conversation, be respectful. And man, let's just try to have a great year, man. We've been looking forward to football. We've had nothing to talk about up until now, and now we're here. So let's enjoy this football while it's here, this extra regular season game. And let's just hope for the best from these birds, man. And I just want to say that, I love the admins. I love all you guys, man. You guys are great. I can't say it again, man. You guys are awesome. And I'm just glad that I'm here. And I'm just glad to be a part of the team, man. Just appreciate everything that y'all bring to the group each and every day, not just on Sunday. We got some good football minds here, and I appreciate y'all, man.
Oh man, we appreciate it. Right back at you, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Brother Marcus. host of the. I need to call that something. The Inside Car Chronicles. Like to me, it's like every time I see the inside of your car and I see that dash light hit, it's like fires me up. So
I'm looking at the garage. I'm looking at the garage in the background.
Right.
Hey man, hey, listen. Like my voice carries in this house. So I get to, man, if y'all listen, when I play Madden in the room, the few times I do now, motherfuckers come in and close the door because my voice travels. So my very first video that I ever did in another group was actually, ironically, outside in the garage. But I wasn't in the car. Like, I was so pissed. I was sitting on the car. And then I'm like, man, I cook a lot better in this area than I do in any place in the house. But I'm gonna make a bold prediction, man. I feel like this game, if Atlanta wins, I believe Atlanta rattle off 5 or 6 wins. If Atlanta loses, I think Atlanta gonna have a losing season. This is how big I think this game is. I think if Atlanta can get past Tampa Bay, one, that's gonna quell the fan base immediately. They're just gonna look at the Eagles game and say, "Hey, man, that was what it was. We just beat the defending champions with arguably the GOAT on their roster, right?" And then I'm looking at the schedule. After that, we got Washington. We got the Dolphins. So you can look at, in about 4 weeks, you could potentially be 3-1, and then you're running into the Saints. Now, last time I made a prediction like this was back in 2016.
Okay.
And Cats thought I was crazy when I said we running the table. Cats hit me up in the inbox, bro. What you been smoking? I need a strain of that marijuana you've been smoking. You know, we just lost to Kansas City, but I'm like, the way we lost to Kansas City, though, we played the hell out of that game, and we lost by 1 point. And what I saw was a team that was confident in themselves. What I saw yesterday was a team, first of all, that hadn't played with each other. And I saw a team kind of give up when they knew the game was out of hand. This is really, to me, this is going to be Arthur Smith's most important game of the season. This is it, already in week 2. And the reason why I say this is because of how we got our ass kicked, how we're going to perform, how we're going to look right after we got our ass kicked and you're facing the defending champions. So are you going to stand up? And because nobody has Atlanta beat Tampa. Nobody right now. Nobody. Especially the way we got spanked. They thinking Tampa gonna beat us badly. But if Atlanta can get, and it's a road game. But if Atlanta can go up there and say pull what we did in Kansas City last year. Y'all remember that game?
Yes, sir.
Kansas City hotter than lava. We in a losing season. And I remember when they won the game, Patrick Mahomes lifted his hands like they won a playoff game. They knew they got away with one.
I remember.
They didn't think. They thought we was going to come in there and get rolled over.
They needed that game.
But think about
them in Buffalo. They needed that game.
Yeah, but think about this, though. Matt Ryan played a decent game that game.
Yeah,
now, they couldn't score points, which was the problem. But that defense, with that high-powered offense that Kansas City had, they held in 17 points.
17.
So this is one of those games where Atlanta has to show up, and Atlanta has to. Just for the fans, the one thing I can respect about Arthur Smith is he included the fans when he said, "I let everybody down. I let the fans down," because he knows, man. Every fan is right now. We're looking at wins like the loves of our lives. Like really, we at this point we're ready to marry wins. You know, we're ready to divorce these losses and marry some of these wins. Because right now we've seen losses so much, man. Some of us have gotten numb to it. Some of us have become alcoholics this last 3 seasons. Because after every game, Cass is taking drinks. Now they in classes talking about high, My name's Ralph. I'm an alcoholic. And then they got to explain why they an alcoholic. Listen, man, I've been following this team called the Falcons, and everybody in there is like, yeah, I understand. It's a damn shame when it gets like that, though, man. But I feel like Atlanta gonna win this game. Something is just telling me they're going to win this game. If they stretch, Dallas basically showed you how to beat this team.
Yeah.
They showed you how to beat this team. They got a good front seven, but their corners and their secondaries, they can be had any day of the week. So I think Atlanta gonna get this. I'm gonna make a bold prediction, man. I think Atlanta gonna get this game. And I think if they get this game, that confidence will start building. Because just like with Dan Quinn, they had to trust the process until they realized the process was a pipe dream. Y'all remember everybody bought into brotherhood, and when they bought into it, they started playing. Now, mind you, we did have Kyle Shanahan. After Shanahan left, that message kind of went out the window. But that's another conversation. But yeah, man, I think we should do this more often.
Yes,
because there's a lot of guys. Now I'll say this and I'll get off. There's a lot of guys and gals that love to talk about football. You know what I mean? Like in my live yesterday, man, I had so many people lined up to get inside the live. Like I was just like, man, I got to cut it short because I ain't about to be in this car for no 3 hours. So there are a lot of people that want to talk football. And there's a lot of people that like to hear us talk about football. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's therapeutic to talk about a loss with somebody that endures the same pain as you do. You get me? So yeah. So with that, man, I'm done. I'm finished. I think we beaten Tampa. I think we beaten them Sunday.
I think you guys got these folks excited. I couldn't help but to notice our sister Lisa came out and said, man, if we beat Tampa Bay, I'm gonna act up. And our other sister Tiffany comes back and says, if we beat Tampa, I'm going to sit on my porch with my Falcons bra and panties on. Whoa, I want to make it clear we're not asking you to have your bra and panty on, but if it feels good to you, knock yourself out. I just want to make sure that if my wife's reading this and she's like, what did y'all talk about in the first hour? They got women putting their bra and panties on. I don't need that drama in my life. So that's
gang.
My man Tiny, wrap us up, brother. What do you want to say to the Atlanta Bird Gang, brother, before we get out of here?
I just want to kind of touch on what the brothers just said. What Marcus said, we want to, as fans, we've got to the point where we just want to divorce the losses and marry the wins. I mean, that was a very paramount statement that he made because in our core, man, that's really how all of us feel, man. Like, we just want y'all to win. It's evident that all four of us love this team. It's evident that, people who listen to us do our lives love this team. And we just want them to do good. We just want them to perform. We want them to do well, and we want them to win. I saw a tweet yesterday that said the Falcons have not won a game in the last 287 days. And the last game we won was November 29th, 2020 against the Raiders. So with today, that makes 288 days. So we're getting real close to the 300-day mark. So, we need some victories, man. And kind of like, Brother Nick was saying, like, what some people may view from one fan as being real pessimistic is maybe just their coping mechanism, to deal with the trauma that the Falcons can bring to you as a fan. I mean, because you love your team, you want them to do well. So a lot of times the Falcons have taught you not to build your hopes up too high. If that's one thing the Falcons have taught any of us is like, hey, don't get your hopes up, because it could come crashing down in 17 minutes as we saw in the Super Bowl. So
yeah.
Don't get your hopes up too high. But ultimately that's what it just all boils down to us fans, we come here, we fight, we laugh, we crack jokes on each other, you know, but we all just kind of one dysfunctional family in a sense. And you know, if y'all want to, man, we should really, because this looks like something that people really enjoy hearing us talk about the team. So if y'all want to try to maybe, if y'all had a time on y'all schedules, maybe do this every Monday after our games, and man, I think it would be a good idea, and I think a lot of people would really love us to do it, because I'm reading some of the comments and people seem to love to hear us talk. And as I saw somebody else say, hey man, it's therapy for some of us. It's therapy for me. I'm not gonna lie, it's therapy for me, man. So y'all got the time, man. Maybe we could try to figure something out.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
Just sat here, you said the word, and then somebody else said therapeutic as well, because and I'm sorry to keep bringing my domestic stuff in here, but my wife was yelling at me yesterday because I was screaming so much in the first half. I did a halftime live, and my voice was just and I'm trying to tell y'all folks, I get in this stuff for real.
Yeah.
And I know y'all do too. I'm not saying any of you and the fine men and women who are obviously speaking in on this, man. It's a dude. September to January in my household is different, and it's different because, you know, having a love for this team and the ups and downs. To say you've gone through it with this team, it's a badge. It's a badge I know you wear, Nicholas, you wear, Tidy, you wear, Marcus, and a lot of you all on the stream are wearing. And we appreciate it. And we want you all to know that we are going through the same things you're going through. We appreciate this opportunity to reach out to y'all. We appreciate the talk. Guys, thank y'all again. I appreciate y'all taking the time. And Tidy, to your point, if we get together on a time, you can, like you normally do, a great job of letting everybody know what we're going to do ahead of time and saying, hey, we're going to do this at a certain time. We'll get together and figure that out. You can post that for us and let everybody know. But I appreciate you all. Admins appreciate you. Atlanta Bird Gang, more importantly, we appreciate y'all. Yeah, we gotta get the girl game going. I see somebody saying that in the mix. We didn't get a chance to do our ladies thing because a lot of people didn't volunteer. Maybe that the season started, we can get that going later on too. Until then, folks, y'all enjoy the Monday night game. And I'm gonna break out of here because I cooked some burgers and hot dogs, and I'm gonna get them get my food fed before the night is over. Thank y'all again. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day. I feel bad saying rise up because Nicholas said don't say it anymore. So I'll say Bird Gang.
Bird Gang.
Y'all have a good one. Fellas, I'm gonna cut this off, so it'll cut off right after I finish. Y'all have a great night, okay?
Peace,
all right, y'all too, man.
All right, later.